Hello, my name is Jamie Fiddler, and I'm one of the two co-chairs of the Mahatma Gandhi Canadian Foundation for World Peace. And this year I am here with Jillian Fusco, one of this year's recipients of the Savita Shah Award. And for those who may not be aware, the Savita Shah Award is an award the foundation gives annually to those who are involved in acts of selfless community service and who are often acting behind the scenes instead of in the spotlight. And having met Jillian just a few minutes ago, I can already say that this is definitely one of these people who is always working behind the scenes. So welcome, Jillian. Thanks
Thank
for
you.
being with me today. And you're uh, in Edmonton today, right?
Yes, yes, I am.
Yes. So I should just take a minute to acknowledge the areas of Treaty 6 and Treaty 7, where I am in Calgary, Alberta, which is also home to Métis Nation of Alberta Region 3 and Region 4. So Jillian is a resident of Edmonton and was nominated for her selfless service in filling Christmas shoeboxes for students in at-risk areas in Edmonton, and also for her work sewing masks during the pandemic for a local women's shelter. And she was nominated by a good friend of hers, Magdalene Moe. So Jillian, maybe I'll ask you first to tell me a little bit about your friend, Magdalene.
Oh, Magdalene. Well, she's been one of my friends since I think we were about 13 years old. She's a yeah, she's a wonderful friend. She's from Edmonton like me, and we met actually at the YMCA where I volunteered as a teenager. And I can't remember why we met doing a triathlon. Actually, we were training for a youth triathlon together. So we did that and worked hard, and we realized that we were meant to be friends forever. And it was funny, we became really good friends, and then we went off to high school and kind of grew apart. And then years later I ran into her. She was having an obstetrical ultrasound at the clinic I worked at, and I was like, Magdalene, like, of all these years. And we found out we lived 2 blocks away from each other. So we just picked up where we left off, and it's been like, I'm so lucky, I'm so blessed that she came back into my life. So yeah, we've just been hanging out ever since. It's been wonderful.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Well, we're super thankful. Thank you, Magdalene, for nominating Jillian for this award. So I'd love to hear about the two projects that Magdalene mentioned in her nomination letter. The first is the Christmas Shoebox Project. So I
Mhm.
wonder if you could tell us a bit more about that and how you became involved.
Oh, I'm so lucky. So, a good friend of mine, Alex Favret, started. It's called Shoeboxes of Love, and she started a program for. I think it only started at one at-risk school in the city, where a bunch of volunteers come together. We fill shoeboxes for the children at these schools. So every child at the school gets a shoebox. It's funded by, people working behind the scenes, volunteering, donating, helping Alex at her house fill all of these shoe boxes, making sure they all have an equal and safe amount of things for the children. They always include necessities like hats and warm gloves and toothbrushes, toothpaste, but also a lot of fun things as well. And she has now expanded to, I think, about 4 schools. This year she did her first junior high school, filled it with really fun, packs for the kids there as well. Not only before COVID, of course, not only did she do the shoe boxes, but she organized a breakfast. It was mostly donated by like great businesses in the city that get involved. So we go cook the kids a pancake breakfast in the morning, and then we surprise them with a Christmas assembly where Santa arrives and then brings the shoe boxes to all the kids.
Oh, that sounds wonderful.
Mhm.
And Magdalene was telling us that one of the things that you help with is recruitment. So, how many volunteers or do you normally recruit for this event?
Well, we all just kind of take on a certain amount of shoe boxes. My contribution is not a large one. It's a small one compared to the amount of shoe boxes that actually get put together. But recruit is the word she used. I would say I force at least 15 to 20 of my friends. I'll do about 15 to 20 boxes, and I'll tell them all what they're putting in it. And then I force them to put in it.
And your dad has been involved as well.
Oh yeah, so my dad is actually he was Santa for before COVID, of course. He did it, I think, 2 years in a row, because we started out, doing the assembly, but then she added Santa, and so a lot of the kids, from her children's school will come and sing Christmas carols for them, and then Santa will surprise them.
Oh, that sounds wonderful. And so the second project that Magdalene told us about was that when COVID-19 began, you began sewing masks for the women's shelter. And
I
so
did.
how did you get that idea? And how much time did you spend sewing at the beginning of the pandemic?
Oh, lots, but it was good. Yeah, I don't even know if I'd call it a project. It was so easy, it was so little, but I was thinking to myself, you know what, I can sew, I'll sew some masks. And I did a few for my family. And then I thought, I think it was my cousin, she's really involved in the community as well. And I said, have you heard of anyone who might need some masks? And she said, I'm not good with social media. And she said on the social media website for this particular organization, they needed masks. So I sewed them some. So they don't know I did it. I just, but I know where their drop off point is. So I just left them hopefully a good amount to just start them off because I'm sure it was extremely stressful for a place like that. So yeah, my grandmother gave me a bunch of material from her basement and yeah, we got to work.
Wonderful. So I wonder, especially it sounds like you're very much working behind the scenes in the true spirit of the Savita Shah Award. And so I wonder if what motivates you to engage in these acts of service for your community?
I think it, I think my love language is acts of service, but when I was in school, I did the International Baccalaureate program, and in order to fulfill the needs of that program, you need to do a certain amount of volunteer work. So, I mean, that's where I met Magdalene. I did it at the YMCA as a youth near my home, and just since then, and I did my teaching degree after high school, and I got involved in the Aunts and Uncles at Large, and they had a girls group there, and so I ran that for a few years and coached basketball for a few years. It just kind of I think it just kind of it's a selfish thing, really. It just makes you feel good, and it's something nice to do. And um, the community always needs help. So if they can't find someone to do the basketball team, the kids can't play, or a group like the Girls Growing Strong group, which I was involved with for a few years. I think up until I think I had my children. If there's no one willing to give their time, um, they can't happen. So I just think it's probably something my mother taught me as well, is that I don't if you don't have like money or you don't have items to give, what you can always give is your energy and your time. So and I found that easy, I guess. So and I liked it. So selfish again. But I just kind of
Well,
continued from there, but maybe I just always need something to do. I don't know.
I think that's that's an inspiring story, especially when we think about involving youth in different acts of service. That can really set somebody on a more community minded track for a lifetime.
Oh, absolutely.
And of course, it feels good, but of course, you've received this award this year because your community wants to take a moment to appreciate you
Well, thank you.
um, and all that you do. So thanks very much for sharing a little bit more about you today.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. It was lovely to meet you.
You as well.